Good evening and welcome to the hashtag. This week I would like to declare my dislike for petrol prices. Hardly surprising, I know. I'm a human and I hate petrol prices. I may as well have come on camera this week and told you that I had a nose. Groundbreaking stuff. Everyone is angry because of petrol prices. People who drive are angry because of how expensive petrol is. People who don't drive are angry because all their friends who do drive are always bitching to them about how expensive petrol is and how they'll never understand because they don't drive. Everyone who doesn't drive and doesn't have any friends, well, they're just angry because they don't have any friends. My car is a complainer. It's hungry and it wants food. If you had a child that was hungry, you would simply need to feed it. Sounds simple enough. But imagine, if you will, that child was extremely fussy and would only ever eat at expensive gourmet degustation restaurants, therefore costing you a fortune every time you tried to fill it up. In fact, imagine, if you will, that you lived in a very expensive neighbourhood where all the food available was very, very pricey. Trying to find cheap petrol is a little bit like trying to find a cheap place to have dinner on South Bank. It's futile, everything's overpriced. I mean, sure, you could drive a bit further up the road to the next restaurant only to find that it's just as expensive as the one you just went past. Or you could drive even further to the next food outlet only to find that it's a 7-Eleven, which everyone knows is the poorest value for money of all. All the while, your child's in the backseat getting hungrier and hungrier and closer to death, and you don't want that to happen because if you don't feed it adequately and it does reach zero, you'll be devastated and you'll never be able to leave the house again. I mean, sure, I could use one of those supermarket discount vouchers and get my petrol for 4 cents a litre cheaper by doing so. But considering how much petrol I can actually fit in my car, multiply that by 4, I'd be saving roughly $2.05. Cha-ching. And given that I had to deliberately overspend at the supermarket in order to get the voucher in the first place, I'm not sure that works out in my best interest financially. So the next time you're at the checkout and you're $1 or $2 short of getting that petrol voucher, think twice before you ask the checkout attendant to hang on to your stuff while you duck back into the store and grab that extra can of baked beans you don't need. First of all, because it's probably cheaper just to forget about the voucher altogether, and second of all, because baked beans make you fart, and I recommend lentils instead. Kind of fitting though when you picture somebody whose car runs on LPG instead of petrol, when they dash back into the store to grab that extra can of baked beans, they can tell the checkout attendant it's because they want to get gas for cheap. Disgusting. We live in a society where it costs more to fill up our cars than it does to fill up our stomachs. Are our priorities in the right places? Although I guess to be fair, you don't need to feed your car 3 square meals a day. That would be horrendous. So I guess owning a car is not the same as owning a baby. Thankfully, we only have to feed our car once a week. So it's much more like owning a dog. Where is my dog? Mum, have you seen Fluffy? But sometimes you just want cheap food, don't you? Because money takes priority. And what do you do when money takes priority over quality? You go to Macca's. For a cheap feed, you go to good old Macca's. And my idea to stopping people complaining about the petrol prices is to create an equivalent. A Macca's petrol station. A petrol station with inferior quality petrol, fast food standard. I mean, sure, there are going to be those that are going to want their expensive, gourmet, organic, free-range, degustation, $50 a course type stuff, and they can have it at their separate, expensive gourmet petrol station. But really, there are times when you don't want to pay $50 a course. Sometimes you're out and about, you're hungry, you can't be bothered finding anywhere decent, you just want something that's going to keep you going in your stomach, and you don't care if there's a high chance that you're going to damage your engine forever or end up with lead poisoning. So you go to Macca's. For those times when money takes priority, all you want for your car is a thick shake. Something that's going to get it from A to B, and you don't mind the fact that it's heavily diluted or has a high ethanol content. Thanks, Macca's. So what have we learned this week? I have a nose, baked beans make you fart, and shopping for petrol is the same thing as shopping for food. On that note, I'll leave you with 2 final questions to consider. When you're going out to the city or South Bank, how do you avoid spending enormous amounts of money on food, and how do you avoid spending enormous amounts of money on petrol? Same answer to both questions. One word: Subway. My name's Ashley McPherson. Cheerio, McDonalds.